her. Hello? I said, Mom, it's Sue. You know what's wrong with you? You never call me. That's what's wrong with you. I said, Mom, you're so cute. You notice all the laughter's on this side of the room? Do you notice that? So yeah, a little bit of identity here. And so she said, I said, Mom, you're so cute. You never change. I'm going to come see you. Silence on the phone. Really? So I walked the 10 blocks to my mother's house. She lived 10 blocks away, but in Sirton. And she opened the door when I rang, and she was so much shorter than I remember. She's just all shorter. And she looked at me and said, you know what's wrong with you? You never come see me. That's what's wrong with you. And I gave her a hug, and we talked. We talked until 3 in the morning, and I decided to move in with her. And all the women in the room went, wow, we didn't even know you had a mom, you know. And she says, yeah. That was what happened. It was just the right timing. I have so much to learn from her. But you know, she said, the strangest part was, after I moved in, I just did this week, I've been meditating, and my whole chest is warm when I meditate. I had no idea that there was a block of ice in my heart because I had broken from my mom. As soon as I rejoined, that all melted. Now I meditate and this energy is going. She said, that was just amazing. Thank you for the assignment, she said. So I said, oh, pretty neat. What about the rest of you? And so there's one guy, this guy named John Porter. John Porter's this big bluff guy. He's got a big beard, you know. He's a building inspector in the city of Oakland. He gives green tags or the red tags. So John Porter, he doesn't talk very much, but boy, he should talk. He says, yeah, I want to tell you about this. He said, my dad, he said, was one of those guys from Southern California, from Los Angeles, who believed in doomsday cults. You know, the groups that say the world's going to end? You know, they're down here. They're up there too. They're down here. He says he really believed in the doomsday cult. And the guy said the world's going to end on a certain day, and so all the followers went out to the beach, probably Santa Monica, might have been Long Beach. Stood there and they waited for the sun to not rise. Well, it rose. Sun rose in the east as usual, and my dad took it really, really hard. It shattered his faith. He totally lost faith. So what did he do? He moved to a cabin on the edge of Bakersfield and sat watching the desert. And I kind of knew he was there, and I'd see him occasionally holidays, but, you know. So he said, because you gave us that assignment, I went down to see my dad. I didn't even call him. I just drove down there, and I knocked on the door, and I heard this voice. He said, John, is that you? And I went in and said, Dad, what are you doing? He said, John, could you teach me to meditate? I think I'm ready. He said. So he said, I spent the whole weekend meditating with my dad, and now, he didn't say, I'm going to move in with him. Everybody thought he was going to say that. But he said, my dad's going to come. He promised to come up and visit me. We're going to meditate together. He said, thank you for this. That's the Dharma we need. So when I talk about filiality in our meditation group, everybody's like, tell me more. I need to know that. Master Hua is correct in saying that we need to learn about our humanity if we're going to approach real Buddha Dharma, which is the transformation of our nature, removing those covers, reconnecting with our roots, and eventually getting to great compassion, which is identity with all living beings, not just with our natal parents or our neighbors or people who look like us. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say. We're learning Buddhism through a Confucian lens because that's what we need right now. Maybe later, Pure Land, you know, when we're ready, Amitabha, but not yet, except for some of us. Okay, so I'm done. I want to pass the microphone over to our Master Heng Lai, who is he's a Forpal Mahatera. There you go.
to the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, to the Venerable Master, Great Assembly, Om Mitopo. I'm going to keep this thing going. I'm sure it's caused a lot of trouble, so I'm going to keep the trouble going. So, this whole filial thing. This filial stuff, I remember the Master speaking this way. I'm going to teach you people how to be human beings. I said, oh gosh, well, I'm already a human being. What do I need to be taught that for? But what he meant was how to be a person capable of having a large heart. And I learned from meeting the Master, my one greedy thing was I wanted to become enlightened. I wanted to have a kaiwu, a satari. I wanted to wake up. And we had these long chan sits, Zen. We'd sit for hours, 21 hours a day. And I said, oh, this is a great opportunity. I'm really going to break through this time. So I'm there gritting my teeth, wanting to wake up. And the Master used to walk through the Buddha Hall, the Chan Hall twice a day, sometimes even more than that. And one time he was walking by and he sees me there gritting my teeth, trying to wake up. So he leans over and goes, what doing? The Master didn't speak very good English. He kind of had a pidgin in, but he understood very clearly when I talked to him. I said, Shifu, I'm trying to wake up. I want to kaiwu. He said, stupid. You can't wake up this way. This is not how to wake up. He says, you're greedy for enlightenment. The more you try to grab it, the more it runs away. You can't be greedy for enlightenment. You've got to let go. You have to be not greedy. You have to practice being not greedy. And it's taking me a very long time to learn this from my door. And years later, I finally got the courage to say, well, I'm going to go up and ask the Master if I can leave home, become a monk. I'm sure he's going to be very happy. If I finally going up to ask him, because I was living in the monastery since 71, I think I got around to it in 74 or something to finally ask him. So I go up there, and Shifu's sitting there, and I bow to him, and I say, Shifu, I want you to leave home. He says, why? What do you want to leave home for? I thought Shifu was going to be so happy that I was going to leave home. Well, why do you want to leave home? Well, Shifu, I want to practice the way, become a Buddha. Shifu goes, you? So, he says, you know this Venerable Shulao, Empty Cloud. He cultivated his whole life. He lived to be 120 years old. He didn't kaiwu, wake up to the way, until he was in his 50s. And you want to leave home. He says, you know, he sat for 2 weeks one time in a monastery, in full lotus, without moving. Why did he do this? Because he wanted people to have heart. He wanted to have people respect the Buddha Dharma, to really respect the Buddha Dharma. If he sat very still, they would see, wow, look at that awesome monk sitting there. Maybe his cultivation is something I should consider. And that's what Shulao did. Even though he suffered greatly, because his mind was not in samadhi, he had a regular mind like you and me. We just had a regular mind, but he suffered through it. He says, that's a cultivator. If you want to leave home, that's the kind of mind you have to have. So that really shook me pretty much. Because my little idea that Shifu was going to be jumping up and down because I wanted to leave home didn't quite work out. Basically, it's not important to me whether you leave home or don't leave home. What's important to me is that you cultivate the way, and that you ultimately do become Buddhas that way. And the Master always taught us about being filial. And the filiality goes obviously to your mother and father. Your mother for giving you birth, your father for helping bring you up, Your parents are your closest tie to that. And then comes your teachers, and then comes your country, and then comes the world, and then comes the universe. And if you don't respect that, if you don't truly respect that, you can't possibly wake up and become a Buddha. How much the less a Bodhisattva who does nothing but think of the welfare of others. And that's the very kernel of Buddhism. It's really, it's filiality. It's filiality on a grand scale. It's first and foremost filiality to your parents. The Chinese have a saying, maybe many of you know it. It says, if you carry your parents on your back for 1,000 li, 10,000 li, you still haven't begun to repay the kindness of giving you birth. And you say, wow, that's pretty heavy-duty filiality there. But if you look at the Buddha's teaching, he was on the Ganges rivers with his disciples. And in those days, 2,500 years ago, the Ganges was a beautiful river and very, very clean, sandy beaches that went on for miles and miles and miles. And he picked up a handful of sand and he said, the chances of you being born with a human brain big enough to understand how to cultivate it is this much, this handful of sand. Look at the Ganges up and down, look at the sand going up and down this river. And you have this one little shot of being born as a human. Now, he took one little grain of that sand out like that, and he says, and this is your chance of running into what's called a good knowing advisor, somebody who could actually help you become enlightened. So do not waste your lives. You have this opportunity, you should grab it. So it's taken me a long time to kind of grasp these simple things. And I haven't got it all yet, but I'm still working on it. I don't have the ability to speak very long, so I'm going to say thank you for listening.
Okay, so that's the truth coming from a couple American monks. Now, that's that saying that Master Hua taught us Buddha Dharma through a Confucian lens doesn't hold the whole story, because